What's up? This your boy. You know what it says. And without further ado, we go into the top 10 most patriotic movies ever, all time. And no, Saving Private Ryan isn't number one. All right, let's start. Number 10, Top Gun. Top Gun, with Tom Cruise, is without a doubt number 10 on the list. This movie, when it came out, about a young pilot whose father was a pilot who died in a mission in war, was the best pilot in the world, or one of the top pilots in the world, and Tom Cruise was a young prodigy just like him, high head, a little arrogant. But it was the surrounding cast members, the rest of the crew, like Goose, Iceman. It made flying cool, and everybody wanted to be in the Air Force. At least walk around with leather bomber jackets and shades. Number 9 will be Independence Day. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. Independence Day. Can't have a patriotic movie on the 4th of July without mentioning Independence Day. Sure, we could battle people on Earth, but battling people during the holiday weekend when we get ready to cook, eat, and barbecue, here comes some aliens, and we gotta fight them. And the only way to stop them is a couple of people in the Winnebagos. Yeah, that's definitely patriotic. So number 9 is Independence Day, and no, Saving Private Ryan isn't number 1. Number 8 on the list is, a lot of people probably going to be surprised to see it as low as it is, because I get a lot of slack over it all the time. But Apollo 13, a lot of people's like, this movie should be a lot higher. Apollo 13 is a very patriotic movie. It's about the astronauts when they went to space and got stuck out in space. They had to think creatively to get home. It's a very inspirational film for the country, because if these Americans would have died, then Russia would have been like, I told you, we're smarter. But I looked at it as a bunch of guys who were trying to get themselves home and save their own lives. The movie is shot excellent because it's a great movie with great acting performances from every supporting role in a film. You had no choice but to recognize it as a savant ahead of its time on the list. So, without a doubt, Apollo 13 is number 8. Number 7, Platoon. Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, and William DeVoe gives one of the greatest 3 performances on screen in a war film in a long time. A lot of people say, how is this patriotic? A lot of people don't like it because it was a tale about betrayal within, on our own side, out of pure cowardness. And it was just such an impactful scene, the scene you're seeing right here. And definitely at number 7 on the list, deservingly. And no, Saving Private Ryan isn't number 1. Number 6 on the list, we have Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, a lot of people's gonna be like, this is garbage. Forrest Gump could easily be number 1 on a lot of people's list as one of the most patriotic films of all time. He was a piece of Americana in every scenario. What's more patriotic than that? He's represented this country in every facet there is. Running for his own independence, fighting in wars, speaking out for the people in the war. He represented this country in the tournaments, table tennis, all the way around the globe. He was every piece of Americana you could ask for, and an excellent performance. And Tom Hanks is definitely Mr. Patriotic. You could make a whole patriotic list with Tom Hanks. And no, Saving Private Ryan isn't number one. Number five on the list, Miracle. The Miracle on Ice, where we beat the actual Russians when they were deemed to be invincible. That team, based on the 1984 team that went to the Olympics and won against the invincible Russian team when no one thought we had a prayer. The inspirational speech by Kurt Russell was epic and deserving of that spot. And no, Saving Private Ryan isn't number one. Number four, we have Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is a very good film, very inspirational. A lot of number ones on everybody's list. Not on mine, but it did make it this far. Saving Private Ryan is very good. It's very well told. I just think the problem that Saving Private Ryan ran into is the fact that it's kind of a slow burn, and you really don't feel the impact until the actual end, really. For me, it's like a roller coaster, but it pays off in the end. But definitely a great movie as these guys in the war go out looking for a, a private Ryan that was missing in action, and they go on a mission to rescue Private Ryan. So at number four, Saving Private Ryan is definitely on the list. Boots of the D-Day soldiers that fought and died. Now, we move on. Number three, Rocky 4. People are going to want to choke me for having Rocky 4 this high. Rocky 4 is one of the most patriotic movies I've ever seen. People's like, this is nuts. This is a movie. Rocky 4 single-handedly ended the Cold War. Rocky's fighting the Russian, the invincible Russian, who's on steroids and is destroying a guy who actually murders another American symbol, an Apollo Creed, who wears the American flag, living in America's playing in the background. He comes and annihilates him in his red, white, and blue trunks. He dies, and that trunks became the flag. Rocky picks those trunks up, put him up there, goes to Russia to defeat their giant, gives an inspirational speech about unity, and right after that, the Cold War ended with the United States and Russia. We won. Rocky could easily be number one. Rocky 4. That's the most inspirational and the most patriotic movie of all time. Could easily be number one. But we have two other selections. Number two, Glory. Glory would have been number one on my list if I wasn't doing a worldwide view outside of myself. I had to step out of myself to look at this film. And when you step out of yourself and look into this film, you see the whole spectrum. I have to thank all people looking at this film and not me. This would have been my number one. A slave who got beaten by the white man in America slave owners and everything like this. These guys signed up for the military to fight when people didn't want them to have guns. He's like, if you give them guns, they're gonna kill us. Gave them guns, and then they fought in the 54th to go and fight in the war. It's unbelievable that that would happen because they became the one to fight for the same Americana that the white man that was the slave masters, and basically the racist, bigoted people here in the country who were beating them and treating them unfairly. They were fighting for the same justice and freedom in the Civil War. Now, the only problem with that is the Germans had offered them freedom if they went to Germany. I mean, France, what was it, France? The British told them to come over there. Oh, I'd have been out. From the moment I got hit, I was done. I'd be like, I can join y'all side. Yeah, now I'm free. Y'all ain't hitting me. Okay, I'm over there. Give me a gun. Now, that is a powerful thing to take somebody you've been beating on, treating like crap, and convincing them to fight for the same thing that you have on their own accord, and to see them pick up the flag and run with it was amazing. I can understand that, but they saw something greater. They was fighting in the belief that everybody here in the United States, we could make it great again. It wasn't great. It was flawed, but he died alongside his captain and everybody else there, and they fought for each other outside of the iniquities of the rest of the world. Now, number one is the only number one. Should always be number one. There is no way in the world you could put anything above Patton. Glory is the one I would have put over Patton because I'm black, and to see slaves fight with people who have oppressed them side by side, that's remarkable. But the worldwide perspective of it might not be that. But Patton, George C. Scott gave the greatest performance of probably any actor in a role portraying a sadistic, old school blood guts general who scared Hitler and the Nazis, went over there, destroyed him. I mean, he was annihilating them and then wanted to continue to go ahead and battle the Russians. The Russians was afraid of him. Everybody feared Patton. And it could only be called Patton because that's all it could be. The guy was made and bred for war. That's all he knew. And nothing's more patriotic than watching him go through the ear, putting fear into the guys who are instilling the fear, and showed them they were nothing but cowards. Well, this is the top 10 most patriotic films ever. And we give a lot of honorable mentions here. Gettysburg, that came out in 93. That was one that some people could have put that on the list. I didn't. A lot of people like Sully. Told you Tom Hanks got a lot of them. Hidden Figures would have made this list had it not just come out. A lot of people like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Air Force One. I'm like, I wasn't a big Air Force One guy or Patriot games, And don't forget, Captain America, the First Avenger, is a definite inspirational film. should always be on the list. Lincoln, honorable mention for that. Seabiscuit. You can have Stripes with Bill Murray. That was a great one. Even though it's a comedy, it was patriotic. Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn. Another honorable mention. So it's good that we pay respects to a lot of these patriotic films, even though they didn't make the list. G.I. Jane could have been on there. The Right Stuff was an inspirational patriotic film. So if you have a movie that was patriotic that didn't make the list, didn't get put into the category, let us know. If you say Yankee Doodle Daddy or Dandy or whatever, you're out. Or Michael Douglas, the American president, you're out. Or definitely, if you put Team America in this list, you are out. All right, I'm out, guys.